Hello everyone, my name is Nolan Crook.
And I'm Eric Stopper, and this is Rubi, the world's first completely passive wearable fetal monitor. And I know it doesn't look like much, but these sensors are going to change the way that we help pregnant women all over the world. Like any other expectant couple, my wife and I were ecstatic for the arrival of our son. We did the fun gender reveal video, and we figured everything was going to be all gumdrops and coconuts after that. But soon my wife found herself malnourished and unable to find relief for her anxiety. And our worst fears were confirmed when our son was in fact born early and almost lost his life. To put a bit of perspective behind this, SIDS, or sudden infant death syndrome, afflicts about 2,500 kids in the United States each year, while stillbirth is more than 10 times as deadly.
This is such a serious issue that the UN created 2 new core goals to combat the neonatal mortality rate. Also, we interviewed 500 different women, and we found that losing their baby wasn't the only thing they had on their mind. 70% reported feeling high anxiety or stress during their pregnancy.
So you can see this isn't just a small issue to be solved. This is a huge problem. And you would think that with such an enormous problem that there would be a few competitors looking to solve it, and you'd be right.
On this chart, you can see our different competitors divided out according to the tracking technology that they use. We have kick counting, we have heart rate monitoring, as well as contraction monitoring. Now, contraction monitoring, according to our research, is a pretty small market, less than 5 million, so we're going to disregard that section for right now. Now, heart rate monitoring, using Doppler technology, falls short in 4 key areas.
The first is that heart rate can vary by more than 50 beats per minute every single hour. So giving mom real-time access to this data is likely just going to cause more anxiety than it solves.
In addition to all those fluctuations, a healthy fetal heart rate is not a good long-term predictor of baby health. It can be there one moment and gone the next. This doesn't give a medical professional enough time to intervene to save the baby.
In addition to that, cardiotocography, or TOCO as it's called, these fetal Dopplers, are bulky and expensive. So creating a wearable with these products is unlikely to achieve mass market appeal.
Fourth and finally, fetal heart rate is an FDA-regulated space. Therefore, competitors in this area are not likely to hit the market until late 2018 or into 2019. And in addition, we did 5,000 hours of market research with 3,000 different pregnant women, and we found that the #1 predictor of adoption in this space is the absence of ultrasonic technology.
Which makes a lot of sense because doctors regularly counsel their patients not to have too many ultrasonic checks during their pregnancy to avoid risk to the baby. And there's a petition out there in the world started by a prevalent nonprofit called Kicks Count in the UK to ban fetal Dopplers from the home. So let's talk a little bit about kick count. Now, there are a few competitors in this space like Tiny Kicks and some research firms, but they've shown no traction in the last 2 to 4 years, and we believe that's because of an inability to validate their technology. But still, the doctors that we've talked to indicate that kick counting is the best way to measure fetal health in the 3rd trimester. Although, even though they're telling their patients to count their kicks, they still don't count this as an FDA-regulated vital sign. But they still want women to measure it several times a day so that they can have adequate time to intervene, whether that be with medication or with fetal therapy or even an emergency surgery like a C-section. And so to make a wearable tech product like this, you need a sensor that's able to pick up small deformations along the outside of mom's belly, as you can see here with our little baby, much in the way that a human hand would. That's where our sensor technology comes into play. Rubi is built around novel strain gauge technology that's able to track magnitudes of deflection along the outside of the pregnant belly. That means that when the baby pushes out, our sensors go out and we can sense that, and it elicits an incredibly high response rate in electrical voltage change, as you can see there. So it's basically like a fetal Fitbit, which uses this patented nanotechnology in a maternity band-like piece of elastic to keep track of kicks, punches, rolls, and anything else that moms and medical professionals might be interested in.
This data is then transmitted via Bluetooth to the mom's smartphone, where it is analyzed for any unusual activity. And if there is any problem going on, then the mom is notified so that she can decide for herself if she wants to do a non-stress test. This kind of information can give the mom several days in order to intervene with a medical professional to help the baby if it's in trouble.
The night that our son was born, we were not monitoring our son's activity rate. But we found out that the placenta had torn away from the uterine wall, and that morning he had been thrashing about so much that is what caused him to go into early labor. And so when we went in, his heartbeat was absolutely normal. He was a normal baby. but we didn't have enough time to intervene. If we would have had a Rubi on my wife, we would have been able to detect those unusual movements and be able to go to our doctor and to be able to inform them that we believed that something was wrong so that they would check. This would have saved us $169,000 in medical expenses. It would have saved my wife from being diagnosed with PTSD, and my son would probably not have epilepsy right now.
And we are extremely confident in our intellectual property in this space. We have 4 issued patents with 5 on the way. Our main patent covers the manufacturing, composition, as well as the application of these novel strain sensors to tracking fetal movement.
And during the development of Rubi, there were several other competing technologies that might have been able to do this, and we actually tried them out. And we found that they were all way too expensive, and they were so complex to integrate into the product that we knew that our sensors were going to be the better option.
These sensors are the best mix of low cost and high fidelity. In fact, we tested them on 42 different women, and we're able to achieve a 90% accuracy rate and being able to pick up these kicks.
Now, these women that we tested on, they fit into 3 categories. 13 million women are tech-savvy, safety-conscious, and for Rubi, they represent a $1.9 billion segmented addressable market. In addition to that, you have women who are high risk, meaning that they've been told by their doctor to count baby kicks several times during their pregnancy to reduce the risk of stillbirth. They're always looking for a solution, and they're willing to pay more than $250 for this product, making them worth a $2.2 billion market. And finally, we have those who are not very tech savvy and they aren't high risk. They're just really interested in learning about the tech, and they're willing to pay between $100 to $150. So in all, these 3 mutually exclusive markets represent for Rubi a $5.2 billion market. Now, I want to talk a little bit about our traction. The business is exactly as old as my son. We started this while he was struggling in the NICU, and as you can see, he's doing a little bit better now. During this time, we've won several business competitions in Utah and California. We've been on several news stations. We've traveled all over the world and shown off our tech and done lots of testing.
About a month ago, we attended the Wearable Tech Conference in London, where we actually won Wearable Tech Startup of the Year. So as you can see, there's a lot of excitement around our product. There's a lot of interest, and we're excited to get this product into the hands of that one customer segment that quite literally expires.
But they expire in a really good way, right? This means that they've had the baby and that they're no longer in that customer segment, at least for a short time. Now, Nolan and I are not medical device people. And so he's a mechanical engineer, I'm in marketing, and so we've partnered with the head labor and delivery nurse at the University of Utah and her team to help us navigate this space. We've done validation work with over 200 medical professionals who have helped us kind of gain some insights into this space. And I'll give you one example, a really good one. So I talked with Dr. Rapley, he's an OB in Salt Lake, and when I was telling him about this, he kind of gave me this really like bothered look, and he made a fist, and he said, "Why weren't you here 2 weeks ago?" Because he had had a stillbirth at 39 weeks and 2 days.
These doctors want a home monitoring solution, but they don't want it to replace the regularly scheduled OB appointments. And so we've built compliance into Rubi through several sign-up steps, as well as a reminder service where the mom receives a reminder of her upcoming appointment.
We started including these fail-safes into our discussions with these doctors, and their 60% positive response rate became a 10 out of 10, 2 thumbs up, love it. So as we move into the market, we have a strategy. This means absolutely nothing to anybody here, but to us, this is called the triangle of life. It's got 3 parts. The first is using social media and affiliate marketing to generate buzz and consistently drive traffic to our product.
The second part of our strategy is to use tech blogs such as TechCrunch and Gizmodo to create a feeling of technical safety around our product for that more anxious customer group.
And the third piece is to institute a give-back program where once a woman is done using our product, she has the option to send it back to us so that we can then refurbish it and distribute it to a woman in the developing world.
We found an incredible fact while we were doing our market research in this area. We found that our customers are 5 times more likely to buy our product if they know it is connected to a cause like this.
As we move into the market, our primary focus will be on e-commerce. Through our website, we found that, this is astounding, that 94% of traffic to our website comes from mobile, which makes a lot of sense because most women that come across us are precisely in this position. And so as we move forward, we also are exploring retail options in Amazon. We have the head of baby products in the Launchpad program there that said as soon as we have delivered and as soon as it makes logistical sense that they are ready to move us into their platform.
Let's talk numbers really quick. So Rubi will retail for between $150 to $200 with a cost of goods sold below $25 at scale. Now this gives us plenty of room to meet customer requirements while also making Amazon happy with a 15% return.
Now we project a 50% margin in year 1, moving to 60% in year 3. This is assuming a 1% market penetration with adjustments made in years 2 and 3 to account for roughly 11% of revenues coming from international sales, where the customer pays for both the tax and the shipping. Now we've been laser focused on Rubi to get our first big win in the market. But you might think that with a technology like this, there could be other applications for it in the market, and you'd be absolutely right. But we as the management team and as the owners of the technology wanted to make sure that we knew every potential pitfall that could come with commercializing this technology before we started chasing down all these other markets.
In our exploration of the application of this novel strain gauge, we've had early stage conversations with 17 different companies that are interested in licensing this technology for their own products, such as Samsung and Hugo Boss. We forecast that over the next 6 years, this could translate to $200 million in revenue if we are able to get 1 to 2 licensing deals per year at 4 to 8%, and this is after Rubi has already launched.
And the team is what's going to do it. Our Chief Technical Officer, Dr. Anton Bowden, is the inventor behind the technology, and he has more than 25 years of medical device experience with over a dozen products that he's brought to market with his own technologies that he has invented.
Also, we have a rock-solid engineering team. I mean, I'm up there, right? Between us, we have over 25 years, quarter of a century of prototyping experience.
I've dragged Nolan here literally all around the world, and he has just hustled all the way along with basically just a screwdriver and some wire strippers that they took away from us at the Copenhagen airport. And he's really brought these sensors in Rubi to where it is today.
Eric is an entrepreneur in his own right, having run an $18 million business out of Kansas City, and we've trained him over the past 18 months to talk engineering like he studied it for years.
Jennifer Bowden is the voice of our consumer. She's a mother. She's a PhD in exercise science, and she's helping us with our research and with our interface with our customers. Our advisory board, like I said, we have the head of labor and delivery at the University of Utah. We also have several mommy-centered entrepreneurs who are helping us market this to these women, and we really we have lots of mom-centered help behind us. Now, before I get to the ask, I want to be clear about something. We are ready to go. We have the team, we have the tech, we have traction, and we have people to fill in as many gaps as we can, but we need a little bit of gasoline to pour on the fire. And so that's why we're here seeking $2 million. This will help us finalize development. It'll help us develop our deep learning algorithm. It will help us also pay for all those ancillary costs that come with starting a baby tech business and for several key hires as well. The last point that I want to make is that for Rubi, for me and my wife, it's not just a product. This is not just a business. When we were like the last 2 years that we've been through have just been a nightmare. With Rubi, we could have avoided all of that. We would have been able to. I'm sorry. Rubi would have meant an early intervention. It would have meant that we avoided all this stress and all this anxiety. For us, Rubi meant life, and it means life. So come with us on this journey, and we won't just revolutionize pregnancy, but we will revolutionize motherhood forever. Thank you so much.